Hello, my soul family. So let us continue with our spirituality retreat. That was just a little introduction for all of you to enter into this angelic gateway, the heavenly gates to the angelic realms. And I want to begin by speaking about the energy with our spiritual talk. So with this full moon in Virgo, this is a very, very meaningful time for returning to purity, purifying our life, and that includes every area, right? First of all, what does it take to become a sacred woman and a sacred man? I want to disclose that at the beginning of my health and wellness journey, and at the very beginning when I first started this brand, I actually did a sacred woman ritual. And this program that I did was taught by a very ancient Egyptian woman, and she was a sacred woman. And it returned me to this ancestral self. It helped me to remember at a deep core who I really am as a woman, as a divine feminine. And I realized and discovered that I am so much more than I realized and that I have been my entire life. It completely changed my life as a woman. That's actually the moment that I went from being a little girl into a young girl and then finally into a woman. And this was just 2 years ago, right, that I really stepped into this womanhood, because being a woman is not about the external matter of it, right? What society says is a woman, what kind of independence you need to have to be considered a woman. I believe that being a woman first is born from within. It is an attitude, it is a feeling, it is a mindset, it's the way that you conduct yourself, but it's also the way that you believe you deserve to be treated and how you deserve to live. So it's when you start treating yourself like a queen, like a sacred woman. And this is what Virgo represents. Why I'm bringing this up, because Virgo is the Virgin. It is Virgin Mary as well. During that very same time, I was connecting again to Virgin Mary, because Virgin Mary has always been very prominent in my life. Especially, I was a very young girl, especially between the years of 14 and 18, when I went to a Virgin Mary all-women's Catholic school, all-girls Catholic school. And she was the center of all that we did, Mother Mary, because she is the divine feminine, the most sacred of them all, and the most blessed as a result, because of her womb, the womb and the baby that she carried in that womb. And us sacred women are carrying very powerful babies in our womb. Now, these are not always literal babies, but it's also metaphorical babies. This is our legacy that we are creating, that we're building now from the ground up. We're in the baby stages right now. And Virgin Mary is wanting to help us to build more of this from a pure state, with a pure mindset, because that's the only way that anything in life will be successful, when it's built through purity, not through selfishness, not through greediness, not through materialism, not through narcissism, not through anger, not through vanity. The list goes on, right? And all of those are deadly sins, literally, because they will kill your soul. And when you choose instead to let the ego die, and you choose to be reborn as your higher self, living now on earth through your higher self, your whole perspective and also experience changes as a result. It's like you're elevated and you're living above the clouds. So you're living in another dimension, in another realm. Even though you're still on earth, your soul is not really here. And is why you feel people fall away from your life. You not connecting, not feeling like you belong. But this Virgo energy, which is also very intellectual, and even nurturing, because if we bring Mother Mary here, she is the nurturer, the mother. It's time that we mother ourselves through this transition, through the healing of any inner childhood wounds that have yet to be healed and mended. This is the time to get rid of those traumas, those past pains that keep popping up in nostalgic memories. This is time to let it go. This is the final full moon, the harvest full moon, before we enter Spring Equinox. So we're entering into a completely new phase, literally, where the flowers are finally going to start to bloom. You will blossom in divine timing. And the only way that you will blossom organically is through purity. So this is very important, is that we maintain our purity. We protect our purity with our life during these times. And the way that you do that is simply by staying in spiritual alignment, which is body, mind, and spirit. Your health and well-being, your spiritual practices, showing up for yourself, showing up to the mission, showing up for God, and receiving these holy spiritual messages that are daily being bombarded onto our physical temple. And it might be physically heavy to carry, that is energetically heavy to carry, but the energetic heaviness translates into physical heaviness. So I do feel like this is something that's also coming up for us light workers. It's health and well-being. And Virgo is ruled by the 6th house, which rules routine, rules our health, and it rules being of service, which is those 3 main topics that is the focus of this full moon. We need to find ways to genuinely be of service. So altruism, humanitarianism. What legacy do you want to live? It can't be about yourself. It can't be about the ego. Because Virgo is actually very selfless energy. There's no ego in there. And so we need to create a routine in our life. A new regimen that is going to allow for everything to take place. Which includes taking care of ourselves, health and well-being, so that we may show up to others in our best self, in our fullest package, so that we can transmit as purely as possible God's message, because we are messengers, right? Think in Greek mythology, Hermes is the Greek god. He is a messenger. And this is what we're all being asked to be as light workers, is God's divine messengers. And we do this on a daily basis, right? With every interaction that crosses our path. But now we're being asked to almost like upscale that and speak our truth even when nobody wants to hear that truth. Speak your truth louder when everyone's trying to quiet you down. Speak your truth when everything seems to be standing in your way. Just knock out all those dominoes and keep walking your path, because this moment is very detrimental into paving the pathway for our new earth future, which is around the corner. This is something that I have been channeling is 2024, and I think solidifying even onward after that year. So we're still in the metamorphosis, the transformation, but this is like the new final cycle of that transformation, which is why it's so important, because this is the final round. This is the final opportunity that we get to really show what we're made of. So we can't take this chance lightly anymore, because this is it. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. This is the moment that us as light workers have been training our entire lifetime for. We have all the wisdom, we have all the knowledge, we have all the skills, and our talents have been already overdeveloped. Now we just need to sharpen those skills and polish the presentation. And this is powerful because this presentation is what's going to move people. It's not what you really do behind the scenes when nobody's watching, right? Because not only does nobody know what you're really doing, but it's not as impressive as when the whole package is there. It's like me coming up here. How much different would this look? Just me either in a room with like nothing on the walls, whereas here we have we're in the middle of the clouds, right? It's a different experience of the message. And so this is what's being upgraded, elevated. And this full moon in Virgo is also about perfection, perfecting our ability to express these spiritual truths so that they can be perfect, clear. There's no mistakes involved, so that what we speak is truth, and that way we are credible with this truth. Believe it or not, as light workers, we have a huge responsibility, because it's not like we make up this truth, or we can make up or twist this truth. This truth comes straight from God, and if you're out of alignment, that truth will be blurred. It's like when you're going from telephone to telephone playing that game. If there's one misconstrued message, the whole game gets ruined. So as light workers, we have a very powerful responsibility to stay in alignment, hence stay in our purity, so that the message that we are conveying to the public, to the collective, is pure, is correct, it's perfect, just like God intended. And this is a very important moment in all of our lives, worldwide. And I think that this full moon in Virgo is also bringing in a little bit of this healthy vanity, beauty from the inside out, right? This is like where true beauty will stand out this time. It's not the superficial beauty. It's not even the fake beauty that's going to make it anymore into this world. Because the world has been very superficial for many years, especially in society, especially when it comes to success. But this time, God wants the true beauties to win, which is from the heart, is from the soul, is so much deeper, and it comes back to being the sacred woman and also the sacred man. The sacred men out there are going to be the ones winning, not the distorted ones, not the ones out there just for themselves or for their name. It's for something much greater than us, and that's for God himself, who created all things. And so I think that this is bringing in also a lot of sacred, pure unions, pure love. It's definitely, this is the sacred, pure love that is coming into union. It's getting closer and closer, like magnets. It's inevitable at this time, unbearable even. And Mother Mary teaches us this, right, with her marriage with Joseph. She was blessed with the perfect partner for her mission to carry out Jesus' birth and then raise him to be the man that he became. And Joseph was there alongside her to help her do that hard mission, because she couldn't have done it all on her own. And I feel like God is bringing our partner that he blessed us with in this lifetime, because now is the moment to definitely come into these partnerships. I've been feeling this very, very strong. It's almost getting unbearable to continue to do the mission alone. You can have all the people in the world next to you, or even a team and a whole production behind what you're doing, right? If you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or you just go to work, but it's a very powerful mission. It's getting unbearable to do it alone. And that's almost like where this powerful power couple term comes in, right? That's what they're there for, and I've been speaking about this for a while, but it's to power each other up and then to recharge together to do it again the next day. And all of that by yourself can get a little bit draining and exhausting. And I feel like this is almost like the purity that we are returning to in our mind state when it comes to our belief about love, about partnership, because I feel like that's been almost tainted in the modern world. In modern society, relationships, love, and partnerships have been tainted, right? And that is not of God. That is not of light. Adam and Eve from the Bible, which of course it's a metaphor story, is to teach us that God blessed Adam with his perfect wife, which was from his very rib, the same DNA, which was Eve. She was made from him, which is why they were so similar. And it wasn't until the snake came in between them that it kind of ruined even their sense of feeling confident in their own skin. They suddenly felt shame and they had to start wearing clothes because they felt naked, right? Whereas before, they were just glad to walk around being who they truly are. You see, that's the metaphor there. They had to put on a mask to feel comfortable in the world. And this mask is not really usually who we really are within. That's the presentation again that we present to the world. And if we go back to what I said earlier, this presentation needing to be perfect is almost where the ego can also step in as a shadow aspect. If taken to the shadowy extreme, is when we're trying to be perfect in presenting an image that really isn't even who we are. And that's why it's draining, because it's not really who you are. So our guidance during this full moon in Virgo is definitely closing out cycles of any area in our life where we are presenting to be something that we're not, or being in a relationship with somebody who we really don't love, and maybe it's because of image, how you're going to be seen if you're out of that relationship, or what they give and offer to you, right? Remember that Virgo is very selfless, and on the shadow opposite side, it can be very self-serving, right? That's a distorted Virgo energy, where it's all about self, and even greedy to the extreme. But a true Virgo in their divinity is selfless, is giving, is of service. And it can also, to that extreme as well, too much of a good thing can be almost like a martyr and a slave. So if you feel any of these two in your area, then maybe it's also now the time where God is telling us to give back to ourselves. Because I was going to say this also, part of this healthy vanity is learning self-love. And this is nothing to feel guilty about, is what it's teaching us, that we deserve to be loved. And if no one's giving you that love, give it to yourself, right? Because we don't want any love that's not pure, first of all. We don't want just attention from just anybody who thinks that we're attractive, whether you're a man or woman, right? Because there's a lot of that. There's women and men alike who will just flatter you because they think that you're attractive, or they want something from you, right? Whether that be sexually or non-sexually. Maybe it's like money-wise, or maybe it's some kind of status-wise, right? Remember that Virgo energy does rule also sexuality in a way. Being the virgin representation, it can represent chastity. It can represent like the priest and the nun, right, who vow to chastity. But this is about healthy sexuality, sacred sexuality, and that can only be performed with one partner, which is your sacred partner by your side. And you need to be willing to sacrifice all that is not that, which is everything else, right? There can't be multiple sacred partners, there's only one. And all the ancients believed and lived by this. You will see this in all the ancient mythology, movies, stories, books. Everyone believed in this, the king and the queen. The king didn't have multiple queens because there is no such thing as that. They can have a mistress, but the mistress is nowhere near as valuable as a queen, right? A mistress is basically a whore in a way. She is there with no self-worth, just there because she wants something from the king, which is money, stability, status. Whereas the queen is in and of herself. Without the king, she is a queen. So she doesn't really need the king, you see. And this is what this full moon in Virgo is teaching us, that you don't need anybody to make you feel your best, valuable, beautiful, pure, of light, a warrior even, right? A warrior for service. You can do this all by yourself. But if you reach this point in your life where you will rather do it by yourself and stay pure than have something else along you that is not pure, then that's when God is actually able to bless you with a pure partner, because this is about deserving it as well, almost like reward it. And Virgo energy is very disciplined in this way, right? They believe in discipline. This 6th house routine is all about discipline, having a discipline to follow that routine, follow through on those goals, on the plan, and take action. Because it's not just about having those goals, but it's about the action that counts. The action to make a change in your life, the action to stay pure, to align yourself daily, to show up for your spiritual practice, to show up to pray to God, to show up for the mission, and then show up for yourself. All of that takes discipline because it's hard work. And Virgo is very hard worker. And this also brings the Taurus energy because they're both earth elements, first of all. And I think that with this discipline as well, you know, with this 6th house energy, what it's also bringing is a sense of balance and harmony. That is what in numerology the number 6 stands for. And this is about, even, you know, when it comes to any extremes in your life, about even saving ourselves even from ourselves, right? Because at the end of the day, we can be our own best friend or our own worst enemy. And there's like this, what I was going to say about the Taurus energy is that there is this Uranus in Taurus. And this is going to be here still, right? But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, yes, Uranus energy can be a little bit about thinking outside the box, but it can also be very impulsive and reckless. And when paired with Taurus and taking it to the shadow, a Taurus shadow is all about the luxury, the material, the greed, the power. And if taken to the extreme, it's like you would do anything for those things, right? And this Virgo energy is teaching us discipline, is teaching us self-control, which is part of this chastity energy. And it's teaching us also just holding back, right? Knowing our limits as a human. And then also wanting to break those limits as a human, because that's almost like what Uranus wants to do. It wants to continue to ascend. But then with this full moon in energy, we're being asked to also stay grounded. So I feel like this is also what we've been speaking about in all of my daily morning spiritual guidance videos. There is the sense of spiritual highness as well that is interfering with our ability to live grounded in our life as light workers, right? Because if we're still on earth, it's because we still have duties to complete here. We have missions to fulfill, and this requires us to be grounded. And I feel like maybe not all light workers, but a lot of you out there might be feeling ungrounded. And this can take place, and it can look like in very different ways for everybody. There's different symptoms. In one category, you can just be so high that that's all where you want to be. And it can almost get you out of touch with actual reality. And we're being thrown into reality with Virgo. Virgo is very realistic. Very realistic. And there's still like, we're coming out of this Pisces season and we're entering Aries season come Monday. So it is almost going to be like a shock. Because Pisces is very dreamy, very in the clouds. Whereas Aries energy, which begins Spring Equinox on Monday, and as we're doing this retreat, we're Thursday into Friday, it's going to shock us with all of this grounded energy that we need to take. We're going to have all this passion and fiery energy within us that we're not going to know what to do with it. But we already know intuitively what to do with it. During this reflection, we've been already getting the guidance, what it is that we need to do with it. And this is God's way of grounding us all and almost like throwing us back down to earth. We're all in the clouds right now, right? And we're needing to get on a strict path, on a strict routine, a strict regimen that is going to force us into getting grounded. Almost like we're being thrown into the army of God. We're in the military of God. And I feel like this is not going to be forever. But it is until you fulfill your mission, basically. We need this discipline. We need this healthy balance between earth and the spiritual world. And that is what we're learning during this full moon in Virgo. I'm very surprised because, I have been feeling all this, but then speaking about it and actually putting it into words almost makes it real and concrete, you see. And this is again a metaphor as well. You can have all these thoughts, all these dreams, all these visions, but that's all they're going to be until they're actually grounded, alchemized and manifested, which means into actual words, into an actual thing, into an actual art, into a completion of something, a project. And that's what we're being pushed to do. Virgo is very pressuring. If you know any Virgos in your life, you can know because they want to be so perfect, because they always want to be on time as well. this is going to bring us back into awareness of time. And this is what happens when we're very spiritually high, is that we actually also lose track of time. We just find that time keeps flying away because we're living in another dimension that actually is running higher, faster. And it's almost like we're living in a timeless dimension because time just goes out of nowhere. It's almost like there's not enough time to do things. But when we get back now to this grounded routine, I feel like we're going to get back this feeling of time. I feel like we're going to feel more normalized in a way. And I know that as light workers, it's almost become a cliche and almost like an insult to call anyone normal, right? Because we don't want to be called normal. But I feel like even the spiritual community per se has even taken to this to the extreme. That has made them lose touch with what they're meant to even be doing here in the first place. When you're so out of touch with the world, with reality, then it's pointless for you being here, because yes, you can be an artist and all that, but what's the art without actually it being appreciated by who needs it, by the people? If it's only appreciated by you, or for all of you up there, it's like you're basically giving art to the angels, because we're all angels, light workers, right? But we don't need that because we are also the art, the angels. You see what I'm saying? So in order to really fulfill the mission genuinely and as purely as possible, we're already jumping into the part 2 of our phase. The part 1 has been hibernation mode for all of us light workers around the world, and you can all testify with this. I've met a lot of you out there, and I know that these past 2 to 3 years have been very hard on all of us because we've been secluded, isolated, we've been in hermit, and we've been almost like being activated, we've been upgraded, we've been healed, we've been all things, right? Preparing us finally for this moment, which is to be thrown back out there to reality. We've been hidden for a while in our own sacred cave. Everyone has their own sanctuary. And we've been like in that cocoon, literally as a caterpillar, developing, sharpening these skills, growing stronger. And now we're about to metamorphosize into the butterflies that we're all meant to be, totally by the end of this year. And this is the beginning of it, the beginning blossomings of us being thrown out. So we're going to see a lot of more social events during now to the end of this year. And even light workers coming together specifically to join, collaborate, unite for the mission and make it real, make it tangible. That's key here. Now we're about the tangible. We've been already up in the heavens for a long time, for too long. And if you take too much of a good thing, it's going to become destructive, and then at the end of the day, it's actually going to be pointless. All the work that you've done, right? So now it's time to go out. It's time to be in the world. Virgos are usually very much out of the world, if you know any Virgos. And they're very grounded. And we need to learn from them during this full moon in Virgo, because that's what this energy is bringing. But do it in a pure manner. This is not about now, as empaths and being sensitive beings, getting sucked up into all the darkness that everybody else is in. The fear that they are functioning from. Because that would again also be pointless. We've been purified enough, and now we've been fortified to stay in this purity. So we're walking around as angel warriors with our complete armor, and nothing can get through that shield. Now we are here to set the way to be the leaders. Virgos can also be very leadering. It does rule leadership, 6th house. So we are being called to step up into our leadership and us lead the way, teach others. Even if you're speaking to 3D leaders, don't be intimidated, because you're the real leader. You're the 5D leader, and that's much higher than any 3D role would be. So don't be intimidated. And in fact, we are being almost like we're learning from them, their tactics. They can be using it for the wrong reasons, right? Manipulation, etc. But we're going to learn those tactics and use it for good, and use it for the mission, and use it to make a point, and use it so that everyone else will respect us around, because this God message needs to be respected, and us lightworkers need to be respected. So definitely take this to heart. as a light worker, you should feel respected out in the world. And if you don't be afraid to speak up, because we are at the right hand of God. And if you disrespect us, you disrespect God, and He will take care of that, right? This is justice definitely coming in strong. God's judgment day is here, especially with this full moon in Virgo, because since we begin this new cycle, this new spring season, this is definitely the new cycle where justice is served. So if you've been waiting a long time for your dreams to come true, this is your justice in a good way, right? So this is wonderful energy. Wow. So I brought a whole set of decks here. I brought like a whole library, and we're gonna pick a few cards here. I want to grab a lot actually. So where are we gonna begin with our energy oracle cards to give us just more insight into today's energy? Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon, for giving us wisdom here today about our next steps forward. Right away, the door to romance in the reverse. So this is definitely what's also being opened. We need to heal past heartaches, heartbreaks, and this is the missing key to this heart. There's a keyhole in that heart. And it's the number 33 card. There's also indecisions about this. I feel like a lot of this indecision is about whether or not you should accept love. Because a lot of us have gotten comfortable being in this chastity energy, right? When you're so pure and so virgin almost, it's like you're afraid to allow even your sacred partner to come in. And this is what's being healed when it comes to love. But it will lead to a happy family. So this is blessed by God. This is the message that this deck wants to portray here. This is the happy family. This is the wife, the husband, and the two children. And one of them is a girl, one of them is a boy. The older girl, and there's a younger boy. And it's the happy finale, the happy ending, the rainbow at the top. And they're all in white in purity. It's like they're all in a spiritual retreat in the ocean. It's so beautiful. This is our goal, and I think that this is also what's coming. This is the stability. That's what's going to help us stay grounded. You know, people who have healthy families, you know, healthy family dynamics actually do prove to improve your health. If you're in an unhealthy family dynamic, it can actually disrupt your health, and you're better off being alone, right? So, but above being alone, having a healthy family dynamic can make you that much healthier. Because you can be just surviving being alone, but doesn't mean you're at your utmost health. And I feel like that's what's lacking. That's actually the secret to our health, is finding this perfect partnership, our sacred partnership that's going to eventually lead to a sacred, healthy family, holy family even. And this is what's really going to create true, genuine health. And I feel like that's what's coming up. Let's bring in the Psychic Tarot. Material harvest. How appropriate, because this is the harvest full moon. And we got material harvest. And then prosperity begins in the reverse. I feel like this is definitely the beginning stages. It begins by opening our heart to receive this harvest, knowing that we are deserving of it. And this is how we're going to actually grow our prosperity, is by believing in it and doing the work, knowing that we deserve it, right? This is almost like, I see almost like at the back, like that the Greek Olympic Games, like the Greek gods used to play. And they are the deserving ones of gold, of fruit, because that always symbolized abundance. And this is the completion of it, the number 9, for us to eventually reach this new beginning. This new beginning is on the horizon. Maybe not going to show up overnight, but it is what's coming. And that's our energy with this. Let's get our zodiac oracle here today. At the bottom we got Venus, which is the energy of love, beauty, our creative projects. And Leo and Gemini. And this Gemini energy is the twins. And this is this action that is burning within us, this leadership with this Leo energy. Standing our ground for this truth. Bringing change. The yin and the yang, the hot and the cold. The opposite polarity, but it's the purest of them all. The pure love Venus. Look at her in her beautiful divine feminine essence here. This is what we are returning, both as men and women, to our divinity, to our sacredness, to our purity. And it's almost very earthy as well, right? Because Venus is ruled by, mainly by Taurus, which is an earth sign. And nature is what's going to help us to return to this purity. And it's also the divine nature, not literal nature always. Because again, nature, like grass, ocean, etc., believe it or not, is very earthly, you see. But divine nature is going above, going within. That's as simple as that. And alongside we get the earth, which is this grounded energy that's coming in, connecting back to earth. And these are both feminines in these cards, which I think is so appropriate and so beautiful. And this one is awoken, and this one is with her eyes closed, surrendering. So this is surrendering to this inner knowledge, inner beauty, and our soul, right? Not just the wake self living, which can be our ego almost, but living through our higher self, which is the dormant soul within. And that's so beautiful. Let's get a divine feminine card. Your heart knows the way. Fear is a luxury. Now this is a card that did come up in the last spirituality retreat, and I feel like this is what we're still letting go of. A reminder that fear doesn't serve us. We want to live in the love luxury, not the fear luxury. And find power in loss. The loss of fear will bring in more power, energy. And she is surrendered here. And she is rising. Look at this. This is so interesting because it's the same red blanket here. And in this one, she's wrapped up on the ground. She's fallen on the ground because of the ego, the fear keeps you stuck in the lowest of lowest. And when she chooses to let go of the fear, which is the loss, in this loss, she finds her power and she rises to the top, which is into the clouds. That's so interesting. And she has her face covered up, which can be representative of the ego. She drops the mask and she reveals her true soul. And that's where we're being guided. This is the purest that you can ever be in life. This is so beautiful, so perfect. Right away, we have the balance card, and this is exactly the energy for today. Archangel Gabriel helping us on our mission, and this is our mission that is going to be evolutionary, legendary. Look at this beautiful anatomy here of man evolving. This is what's going to take our species to the next level as well. And this is what we are being guided to focus on. It begins with inner balance of the yin and the yang, the inner masculine, the inner feminine, and then our outer world and our inner world as well, right? All of it, as above, so below. And have courage to face your fears that is keeping you stuck in lower vibrational energies, and forgive yourself for any moments that you were stuck in fear. And this is Mother Mary, Virgin Mary, showing up for us. She had to. And Archangel Jophiel, which is the angel of beauty, self-love, compassion, forgiveness, is helping us to heal during these times. Thank you, angels of Atlantis as well. These are the angels of Atlantis, very ancient knowledge coming in. Virgo is very intellectual, very wise. And let us bring Archangel Metatron with us. Some divine messages. Exactly. Look at this. Who are you? This is about returning to our authentic self, completely stripped of all ego, all fear, all pretentiousness, and revealing our true self. And it's important that we do this amongst others, not just behind closed doors, but also amongst the world, revealing our true self. This is what's going to bring us true joy and happiness. Believe it or not, I feel like this is the missing piece. So this is definitely, look at this, the full moon comes up. It says, time out needed, review and reflection. I've been feeling this very, very strong. A strong time to take a step back from the world, from your day-to-day responsibilities that have becoming too much. And we're needing to just sit there and just do nothing but think, literally. So as soon as you listen to this video, take time out this night. Take the night out, the night off, and just be with your true self. Do reflection, journaling. The things that are going to help you return to who you really are inside, which is your soul. If you've been feeling out of touch with yourself, this is why. More reflection time is needed. More solitude time is needed. I feel like we need to connect back, not with the world, but with ourselves, so that when we do connect to the world, it's coming from a pure place. That's what happens when people are so out of touch with their soul, because they're always in the world, always trying to keep up with an image, with their ego, that there's no time to reflect. And that's what creates issues down the line, because you're just living off a habit and off this hamster wheel cycle that is probably destructive, but you don't see it because you haven't taken time out to reflect. And so this is a moment to definitely take a break. Maybe take the whole weekend off if you need to, and return to your duties on Monday. The ones that are not necessary, at least, right? It's discerning for your own life, but do the least possible during these next few days as we build up to the Spring Equinox, this new astrological year coming Monday. So we have Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to take some time out and think about where our life is going and where we want to continue to go. So definitely think on that one tonight, because I feel like we are going to be receiving revelations that are going to come out of nowhere, and we're going to be so grateful. Definitely stay grateful during these times. This is going to definitely keep you positive, thinking long term, not just short term in the moment, right? We live in the moment, but we don't act for the moment. We need to always still think long term, and that's the difference between a wise person and one that's not, right? Let's bring in our crystal power tarot, and let's continue to get more messages. I brought total 3, 4, 5. We've already done 6 oracle decks, and I have 6 more to go, so we brought 12. So I think that's a probably strong numerological number for today as well. But I believe that 12 flipped, if you flip it, because that card deck actually flipped when I closed it, is the 21 major arcana, which is the world card. And I feel like our world is being turned upside down. But more than upside down, because that would be more the tower card, our world is just being flipped. That's it. It's like literally just being flipped back to front. And I feel like the message there is that we're being flipped. It's almost like I'm thinking of like an imagery that, let us say you're actually wearing a mask, like you went to a masquerade, and you just flip it, and you flip almost like your head, and your real self comes out. I feel like that's the flip. But then when it comes to our world, again, we're being thrown to reality, so our world is going to shift. We're going to now need to blend our spiritual world, the way that we receive messages, what we do for a living. A lot of you have spiritual businesses as well that you need to keep up with. And the only way that these spiritual businesses keep running is when we're in spiritual alignment, right? So we need to find healthy ways of grounding while still staying high spiritually, because that's what makes us obviously the spiritual leaders, right? We need to be spiritually high because that's the only way. But it can't be taken to the extreme, or at least not too much out of your day, out of your time. There needs to be more balance, because I feel like we've been out of balance in that way. I feel like we're always up here, and I feel like that's becoming a little unhealthy. All right, let's get in some extra messages from this tarot here. Right away, we got the 6 of Wands. This is the victory card in the traditional tarot. And this is the garnet. That's the crystal that actually helps with blood circulation, blood pressure, all blood. So if you're dealing even also with like any iron deficiency, anemia, garnet is the crystal to work with. And of course, also make sure that you go to a doctor and get your health checked out. But this can also be also metaphorically related. Blood is related to having like life, right? Because without blood, we will be dead. And having healthy blood, we are able to fight off any invaders that come into our bloodstream, right? And we're able to be strong, a strong immune system. And I feel like this is having a strong immune system for life, the traumas that we've dealt with, being strong characters, having that tenacity, having that strong willpower to still want to live despite what happened. I am proud of what I achieve and I accept my rewards. This is definitely in the cards coming in. Victory. Down the line. Maybe 6 months from now. Maybe 6 years from now. Definitely not 6 weeks though, because I feel like that's too short term for any true, genuine reward to come in, right? That's where we think long term. We definitely need to get out of that short-term gratification mindset and think long term for all the things that you do. The slowest always wins. Keep that in mind. Yeah, this is about standing in our truth. I choose my battles carefully. You see, this is almost like the turtle card in a way. You know when to fight and when to back off. This is straight from the Warrior of Light manual as well, by Paulo Coelho. There are times when you don't need to fight because maybe you know that you're going to lose, or it's a pointless fight, pointless waste of energy. Rather, save it. Reserve it. Keep your reservoir strong and shielded. Yeah, because you're the Queen of Pentacles. You already have it all. You have nothing to prove. And this is the pyrite crystal, which I also work a lot with, which is gold straight from Peru. And that will help you to manifest prosperity, abundance, and even health, because abundance is not only money, right? It's not just money related. It's also love, having the life of your dreams, having the home of your dreams, the partner of your dreams, the husband, wife of your dreams, the children of your dreams, the family of your dreams, the health state of your dreams. And this ametrine looks almost orangey. It's going to help to give us that courage and bravery to be our own knight in shining armor, save ourselves, even from ourselves. And we will blossom in divine timing. Look at that beautiful rose blossoming. This is spring energy as well. I have everything I need to prosper. We've been given the tools. We have the toolbox with us. It's now about how we use it. And this is where we're being now going to be tested and challenged with. It's about using our tools and knowledge and skills wisely, not impulsively, but intellectually, because that's what swords also rules. Very intellectual energy. Virgo's going to help with this. Think, put on your glasses on and think. Ace of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles. This is also might be collaboration coming in, maybe teamwork that might make this work even better. When I show my work, others give support. We're going to get support that we need on this earth. Know that you will get all the support needed to make the mission work. And this is the Ace of Pentacles, the Malachite crystal. I am always rewarded for all that I do. This is what it's going to lead to, that big pentacle that you all made happen together. So beautiful. But it's not going to be without struggle. Ten of Swords. And even mental games. But we're going to need to know that this is from our own ego. It's coming from our own mind. I see the truth in this ending. So truth is what's going to set you free. And that's where the spiritual journey comes in. That's where your soul evolution comes in. That's why we do what we do here, right? It's to be able to live life in more grace and save ourselves all that heartache, pain, anxiety, fear that we know is all an illusion anyways. This is what's going to help us break free from that pain, from that mental constraint. Work with the crystal, Sugilite. But know your truth. And don't let anything get in the way of this. This is how we also protect our purity on this journey. This is the pure Queen of Pentacles. She has everything. And she can also have a lot of people wanting to come at her to get things from her, right? So we need to be even our own hero and protect ourselves, our purity. And this is what's going to lead to victory. And we're going to feel proud of ourselves. No one did this for you but yourself. And that's beautiful. Thank you, God. That was deep. But that's how deep the journey goes. And that's how deep your reflection needs to get during this full moon. Take advantage of this full moon. Take out your crystals, recharge them. Take out your journals even and recharge them. Cleanse the energy from whatever you did these past few weeks, past few years. Definitely do a lot of cleaning in your life. And that includes all areas. Start anew, energetically. And use this full moon. Feel that you're very sensitive during these times and use that. Don't be afraid of it. I've been very sensitive during these past day and a half, and it's because of this full moon. And this is the most important time to trust your intuition, and then also write down your thoughts, and then just journal what you need to do. You're gonna get a lot of genius ideas, a lot of genius spark light bulb moments. All right. A little intermedium, I just want to send some healing Reiki energy for everyone here involved. And may we all return to our purity and sacredness. This inner, innate, divine child that we are, our divinity. Thank you, God. Namaste. Alright, let's continue real quick with these other cards. And look at this. Heal thyself. We have love at the bottom. This is this love that we are longing for. Is what I'm feeling. And it's mutual. But it's of our vision. So this is about love for self, love for another, right? We need to learn to love ourselves so that we can learn another, love another, right? So this is definitely a lot of heart chakra healing during these times. Yes, and we're getting help from above. The full moon, the harp, the music, the sound frequency. She's moving oceans. Our angels are helping us. Light beings from above are coming down to help us. What a beautiful imagery here. Very beautiful. And it did go from 27 to 28 cards, so this is progression. We are evolving. We are stepping up. Let's get a sacred rebel oracle. Okay, so the bottom cards are seeming to be the message today. Listening for truth. This is our main message for today. Pick up that seashell and listen. It's almost like when you're cured after a nice salt bath, right? You strip away all from your aura and you're cleansed again. You're pure. And that's when you can listen to truth. Right? When you're in this pure state, it's the only way. And this is what we're listening to. It's the number 36 card as well. And I think we should read it. I always love reading, picking one card from this deck and then reading it. Because this is guidance for helping us to live a unique and authentic life. And it is from our ancestors. If you see this image here, it almost looks like shamans, Native Americans, right? So I do believe these messages are strong. So listening for truth. Truth speaks to us constantly, but not always in words. It may communicate through a feeling that is hard to put into words, but brings an inexplicable sense of peace, trust, and the knowledge that somehow everything is going to work out perfectly, even if there is little evidence of how it's all going to happen. And these are the answers that we will be receiving in reflection tonight with this full moon coming at its fullest potency, which will be between Thursday and Friday, so very early Friday morning before the sun rises, right? That's where this full moon is going to be at its height, wherever you're at in the world. And now you're being asked to listen for the truths beneath the words rather than the superficial message of the words themselves. Now this can also be when it comes to relationships, right? Listening to the meta communication of your style of communicating, not the actual communication, which is the words being interchanged. It's the message underneath those words, the in-between that counts. The body language with which you speak those words, that's what really tells you how they feel about you, right? This is especially true for the communications of those around you, the press, the newspapers, and the mass media. Always listening with your spiritual ears and seeing with your spiritual eyes, right? You will begin to hear fear in the words and actions of those around you, even as they preach love. Listen deeper. Listen for the truth. You are a very intuitive being, so you can see the truth already and go by that. This oracle comes with a message of truth for you. You are hearing something that is not being said, and what you are hearing is truthful. And it can also be your angels speaking to you the truth. You may feel as though you're the only one that is really ready to hear or see it. And perhaps you've been working in a situation or loving in a relationship where truth is consistently denied. We live in a world where truth is frequently avoided out of fear of what it might reveal. And this is the moment to step into your truth and start living pure, true, and authentic to who you are. That's the purest that you can ever live. Being truly authentic, right? To what you're feeling, to what really is inside, what's true to your soul, not to your flesh self, right? Not to the self that people know you by. It's the self within that maybe nobody knows you by, but that's the real you, and that's what needs to be shown now. What's slowly being revealed as well. And people are going to love that side of you even more, believe it, right? Because who doesn't love the Virgin Mary, for example, right? Who doesn't love Jesus? They are in their purest, highest self, and they're not hiding anything. At the basis of such actions, consciously or not, is a deep sense of unhealed, toxic shame. If you or someone else is fearful that the truth will expose rather than free and heal, then some personal healing is required. It is time for letting go of old wounds in favor of a greater sense of self-love and acceptance. You are being asked to love yourself enough to honor the truth, even if you feel you're the only one doing so. Sacred rebels need truth like lungs need oxygen. Truth keeps the energy of life flowing through the rebellious heart. Lies dampen the spirit of the sacred rebel. Even if those with less awakened hearts fear the truth, you must not turn away from it. Don't resent this state of affairs. Perhaps your job is to show that truth can be witnessed even when many may want to hide from it. What others do is always their choice, but through your honorable deeds, done with integrity, you will be set free, no matter what the outcome. You are a truth seeker, Never deny or try to quiet this down to make others comfortable. You are meant to be an agitator at times, even though you don't want to confront people to do it. That's part of what being a truth speaker is. And we do it anyways. You don't necessarily have to even say a word, though sometimes you will. Often you will agitate in the most loving sense by unveiling truth simply through your knowings. Hold compassion for the truths that you behold. Do not use them as knives to cut another or yourself with harshness, because that's not the point of it, right? But as the clear insight that allows one to loosen the knots that bind, simply by knowing which thread to gently tug. This oracle brings you guidance. If you've been worn down and depressed by lies, gossip, deceit, or even backstabbing going on around you, don't fret. Get out in nature and spend some time communing with the infinite. Healing will come to you now, no matter how many times, in how many ways, or by how many tongues untruth is spoken. You know what you know in your sacred, rebellious heart. That truth is your connection to the living truth of life itself. Don't give up. Just open up to healing and know that the truth always and eventually prevails. And that's justice coming in. So let's do a little healing process. Place your hand very lightly in the front and back of your throat and say, I now release all vows of silence that I have ever made, consciously or not. I now release all lies, deceptions, and painful words, spoken or unspoken, that are affecting my ability to clearly know and speak my truth. I am held in unconditional love with protection and grace, and so be it. You have finished your healing process. You might like to say something true just to anchor it. How about, within me, beyond all that rises and falls, only truth remains. So focus on the light, and that is your truth. Let us continue with a black moon astrology card to go deeper into these astrology energies. These beautiful cards. We got Pluto transformation. Couldn't have been more appropriate. And this Pluto energy, I believe, is in Scorpio, but it's very dark transformation. It's almost like the dark night of the soul that is required for us to come out in the light, right? This is when the caterpillar is still in the cocoon. It's very dark in there. When the baby's still in the womb, it's very dark in there. But when they come out into the world, it's just so beautiful. And this is what's being progressed. You see, this lunar eclipse energy is about change. We grow with every lunar cycle. And I feel like this might even be like 11 lunar cycles till this completion is completed. Maybe the 11th month of this year, which is November. And I feel like that's it. Libra, I balance in the reverse. So this is what's needed, more balance to help us continue to transform in the healthiest manner. And also healthy for our spiritual soul, right? Our spiritual body, should I say. Our soul and then our spiritual body. Because our spiritual body also requires attention, right? It's not just our physical body, but also our spiritual body. That's where spiritual practice comes in. That's where reflection comes in. Slowing down comes in. Compassion as well helps. And then sacred geometry activations to light the way. To see what oracle, what geometry, what sacred geometry is being activated. And our angel Michael here is holding wings. And wait. Fertility, Virgin Mary energy here. Pregnant with Jesus, right? Yeah. The miracle baby as well, right? The frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. It's a beautiful energy 27 here. And I feel like that's how we're going to close out today's spiritual talk. I feel like my energy is tired already from here. So we want to get right into our Sambo healing session. And that's interesting because we used 11 oracle decks, which we got the number 11 before. So this is also the law of attraction, right? Keeping our thoughts positive to manifest what we desire. Thank you all for joining me here today. Let's get started with our Sambo healing session, and I'll see you in just a minute. Namaste. My soul family, welcome to today's Sambo healing session for this full moon in Virgo. My name is Christy Ramirez and I'm your health and wellness expert and your healer. Let us begin by closing our eyes and receiving some Reiki healing energy for us all here present. Our angels are entering to help us return to alignment, to purity, and to heal. We have Archangel Michael, as always, in the front. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Haniel, and Jophiel for self-love. Almost like a Virgin Mary energy. She's here with us as well, helping us to return to the sacredness. So let us just close our eyes and let us enjoy this sound frequency, this golden music, as if it were coming from a harp, right? And let the angels restore us. Let these angels restore our soul. Receiving from the Holy Spirit. God is going to lighten our load today to help us live in more grace, to help us feel free, to help us return even to child's innocence. God sees that behind closed doors. He sees our struggles, He sees our pain, He sees our tears. He even feels our fears, and then is going to help us to heal from that wounds, or any wounds that we have. Body will be healed, because we still need our body, right, to do this work. Full restoration of health and well-being, vitality like never before, joy, love is going to help with that restoration. So give in to truth. Give in to your passions. Give in to your truth. This is what will set you free. Feel liberated from anything. And rise into the clouds. Open up your wings. Spread them and fly. Fly high. Fly far, because you are going places. God is opening the doors today to freedom. This is the finale of all your struggles. Prosperity coming in as well for those who are deserving. This is our Ace of Wands. This is victory. And this has not been overnight. Further from it, it's been a lifetime. Now it's also worthy in the 3D world. And that's this new justice that's coming in. In the 5D world, we don't need approval because we are already perfect as we are. We are abundant up there. But now, as we're being thrown into reality, it's for a reason, it's for a purpose, and it's to showcase God's work. And this godly work will be appreciated. It will be rewarded, it will be honored, and it will be respected because it is worthy of gold. So strap your belts on because this cycle is going to get intense and it's really fast. It's still going to be good, but not as difficult as it was before, because it's the getting there that's the most tormenting, you can say. But now that we're there, it's just maintenance. Maintenance of the work that we've already been doing. There's nothing new. Now the only new thing is that it's actually going to be admired, appreciated, and even the people are going to be grateful for it, because people, believe it or not, have been waiting for trustworthy leaders to come out. Because that's where also the collective falls, following the wrong crowd, the wrong people, the wrong influencers, the wrong leaders, the wrong mentors, the wrong guides, who don't know what they're talking about, or who are not healed. And so everything they speak is from a distorted place. So God is doing us all a favor. God is bringing in these healed light workers who are ready. These warriors, these angels to do the work on earth. And likewise, the partners, the masculines and the feminines who are divine, who are a match to each other, will also be united eventually. Are able to reach that final pinnacle of their fullest potential. That's the missing piece to the chain, you can say, that's keeping you stuck, trapped, or just unhappy, unfulfilled, because they're missing a piece of themselves, and that's a piece of their soul. Guidance that we receive. Your intuition is correct, and make sure that you listen to your true intuition. Don't try to twist it around. You know where your intuition is guiding you, what your intuition is guiding you towards. Do some humming to this angelic music. into your heart, into your soul, and take it with you. May you all live in peace. Thank you for joining me here today, and I'll see you all next time.